Hey, what's good? So it's your lunchtime warrior here. A bit later than normal. Work's taking over a bit, but we keep on our grind, and we'll get a 10-minute vid out if we can. If me, one man army here. Um, yeah, today it's a bit of disclaimer. It's a bit more about digital assets and cryptocurrency. So I guess along with that comes the thing of saying I'm not a financial advisor. Um, do your own research. I'm not trying to tell you to do anything. You make up your own mind and decisions. With that said, I kind of want to talk about weak hands, or I've seen it referred to as paper hands. Um, and again, it's about asking yourself the question about why, if you're investing, it could be in anything, to be honest. Like if you're investing in it, why are you doing so? An interesting quote from Warren Buffett was said, again, I'm gonna have to paraphrase because I can't really can't really remember exactly the precise wording, but he essentially said that he doesn't he doesn't even call like stocks. He just sees it as a part of the business. So, for example, if you're buying a farm, for example, and then the price of the amount of the farm that you actually own goes down, then it just becomes easier to assess. Well, I still own part of this farm, and do I really feel that the fundamentals of this farm over the next, because he's very like with a long term outlook, has it changed a lot? And I mean, unless like there's no requirement for that farm anymore, or perhaps it's suffered insurmountable losses and stuff. Like if the fundamentals haven't changed and stuff, the value is still there, and that kind of goes a long way for being able to hold on to something sometimes when perhaps there are dips in the overall market, and maybe you don't see. I guess what you could say is like the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know, whenever if you have some kind of maturation date. Is that the right word? Maturation date? When something matures, that date, like when when the time comes when you'd like to cash something in, whether it be partial or fully. And it relates quite a lot to like digital assets as well. And one thing I found useful for me to think about is when if you have an asset and it is declining, is the ability to be able to put that into a place where you can get we can stake it or gain interest from it. Obviously, like a lot of people don't like that because there is the whole not your not your keys, not your crypto. If you don't if you have it on an exchange, for example, you don't have real control over it. I mean, I guess you could say the same about having your money in a bank account. Really, like you don't technically have you're putting a lot of trust in that bank, which doesn't have enough money to be able to serve all the accounts that it has, and that's obviously what fractional reserve banking is based upon. Fading out here. Look at that. Oh, there we go. So depending on your stance on that, and I can fully understand, obviously, like keeping as much as you want on cold storage. Obviously, there's huge merits for that, and everyone's got their own price, if you will. Like, so say for example, if someone's gaining like 1 or 2%, that might not be enough to warrant them what they see as risking your assets by then bringing them onto an exchange. But for other people who perhaps don't mind as much, or don't see that as much of an issue, then that 1% is more than enough to bring them on. But anyway, like for me personally, I don't want to divulge too much about my own situation, but I think a balanced sort of view is quite good, with some merits towards both cold storage and exchange. And with the latter, and the benefits of being able to stake certain coins, if you can get back 5, 10, even 20% over the course of a year on certain assets, then it really kind of like nulls the blow of any kind of decrease. I mean, just put it into simple terms: if you have an asset and over the year, unfortunately, it's gone down by 10%, but then you've made 5% return on that, then obviously in that scenario, you've reduced your sort of like loss by half there, while accumulating more of the original asset, or depending on how they pay out. I mean, you might have opted to get an alternate currency. And it probably ties back in with like, what's your, like asking yourself, what's your goal, or why did you invest, in the first place? A big key word is that kind of word of a passive income. And at this moment in time, you might say, there's no real use in having an income in a declining asset. But depending on why you invested in the first place, it might be the case that you feel, that this is the future and this is the way that things are going. And if that's the case, then hopefully, it's a big hope, that if the value stays the same, or perhaps drops a little bit, or who knows, if it increases, then you're only increasing that net worth and that potential of that passive income. You might just be earning the equivalent of 1 cent a day, through various staking methods. But it only takes a 10% rise, and a sustained rise. And if that asset was able to hold on to that 10% rise, then suddenly you're earning 10%. 10%. You're earning 10 cents a day then, which if you times that by however many days in a year, 365. So you take 10% of that. Just in my head. It's an extra, like $36 a year, which again might not sound like too much, but that's extra money that, I mean, obviously once you've accounted for your tax, make sure you're all up to date with that. But again, that is exactly, that is passive income. You haven't had to take more time out of your day-to-day job or anything to be able to earn that. And that is, if you read any kind of Rich Dad Poor Dad, or see any of the other tutorials and videos and stuff, they definitely, they highlight that as a key aspect. So yeah, that was the main thing today. Going to keep it a bit shorter than normal. I think I usually ramble on for about 14 minutes. But yeah, it was just depending on, it all depends on your situation as well. But that's something that I've used to be able to, I guess, like strengthen my hands. They're still weak as hell, but it helps, or if anything, it just helps null the effects of a depreciating asset by getting more of it. It's like, oh, what? This has become worth less. Oh yeah, give me some more. So yeah, that's that for today. Have a great weekend.